What's up, drummer friends? Derrick here. It's so good to see you again. It's been a while, hasn't it? All right, we're going to talk about today traditional grip. It's kind of a simple subject, a little bit not quite as intense as some of the things I normally go into, but it's something I enjoy, something I get a lot of questions about. It's something I spend a lot of time analyzing, therefore, why not? It's been covered in a lot of DVDs and videos. You've seen it explained a lot, but I've never done it, so that's all the reason I need. So here we go. Now, you see me playing on this ridiculously crooked pad. Why am I doing that? Well, to start things off, that is how traditional grip started. Back way in the day, the military drummers, and they had those old sling drums slung over their shoulders. To make a very long story short, they had to play them at this awkward angle, and obviously that makes playing like this a little difficult. I mean, you can do it, but you don't want to march miles and miles and miles while playing on a ridiculously crooked drum. So what they did, very smart guys, they simply took the stick, instead of gripping it on top, they grabbed it from underneath, like this. All of a sudden, boom, brought the elbow back into the body, allowed for a much more comfortable position while playing their drum, doing their marching thing. Whatever it was they were playing to march with the band. That's how traditional grip started. That's why it exists. Now, what I'm going to do is an amazing time-lapse photography on how the evolution of drumming has changed. Ready? There we go. That was like 100 years of drumming evolution taking place right there. The drums have flattened out. We no longer play on those sling drums. Therefore, we have a flat surface to play on. So, why the heck do we still use this weird grip? Well, A, tradition. Hello, that's why it's called tradition. B, a lot of people find that it does have its own benefits, sound-wise, technique-wise. It's obviously a grip that I prefer, and probably many of your favorite drummers employ as well. So, it's a great grip. It's a lot of fun to use. Can be a little intimidating at first. A lot of people, they want to try it out and they get into it and they can't figure it out. Heck with it. And they go back to match. But I promise you, if you spend a little bit of time working the motions and getting comfortable doing this, traditional grip will be another tool in your arsenal. So, let's take a real close look at the basics, okay? One stick at a time. So, obviously, left stick. So, here's what we're going to do. Take an open palm, okay? Shaking hands, the thumb up in the air. We're going to sit that stick right in there. Okay, right where the fulcrum point is, kind of where it is over here. That's about where we're going to set it, in between the padding of the thumb and the main finger, right in there. Okay? Now all I'm going to do is gently close my fingers on the stick as such, so that now the stick's kind of creating this perpendicular angle to my arm. Now, if you are new to traditional grip, if you've never done this before, if this is your first time attempting traditional grip, stop at this point. Stop. Do not go any further. What you want to do is spend a few minutes very gently getting used to the motion, because from right here, this is your starting point. What you're going to want to do is rotate your wrist. As I rotate my wrist, the stick moves up. As I rotate my hand the other way, the stick comes back down. That is the motion of traditional grip. So just spend some time just in this flat hand position, up and down. And kind of let that sink into your muscle memory, which is a very important thing. Let that sink into the muscle memory. Don't worry about sound quality, rebound, or don't try to play flam drags or anything like that at this point. Don't worry about it. All we're worried about, up and down motion. That's the basics of traditional grip right there. Okay? If you can do this, you're halfway there. There you go. Okay, so now here comes a little bit more technical stuff. What we're going to do is I'm going to do kind of a Vulcan thing. Live long and prosper. Kind of like one of those, you know what I mean? And I'm going to put the two fingers underneath, and I'm going to put my other two fingers on top. Now this is where there's a lot of differentiation between people, and they like to put their fingers here, and they like to put their knuckles here, and this joint connects to this joint, and yada, yada, yada. Whatever. I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible. Here's the basics that you should know. forefinger and thumb should connect. Okay, that creates the main fulcrum point, just similar to the thumb and the forefinger. I just might have made a new word there. Forefinger fulcrum over here, that's going to be the point over here. Okay, when we stick it in, close the finger and the thumb, that becomes our fulcrum. Okay, now our middle finger is kind of going to sit on top. Middle finger is just going to do kind of what it always does. It just kind of sits there and doesn't really do much. Over here, it has a little bit of impact on the fingers, and over here, if you really get into that Art Verdi kind of stuff, you know, where you're tapping on top and going insanely fast with your fingers, that's something to worry about later. But for now, just let the middle finger relax on top. The bottom two fingers, very crucial here, and very often underlooked, so it's important to spend a minute or two on these. The ring finger, what I tend to do is I let the stick sit on the cuticle, right on my ring, or on the, not on the ring finger, fingernail. I cannot talk today, what's my problem? The cuticle of the ring finger, that's where I let the stick sit, so it creates a balance point. I have a balance point on my fulcrum point and a balance point on that cuticle right there. And that gives me my, whatever, a little bit more stability, a little bit more control over the stick. The pinky sits right underneath it and supports it. Okay, that way all that impact's not being absorbed directly by that one small area. You're kind of spreading out the impact. Like that. Now, so, real quick recap. Open hand, stick in, closed thumb, two on top, two on bottom, connect forefinger, bada bang, there you go. Okay, now wrist motion. Remember what we did over here? Up, down, up, down. I put my fingers all on the stick in their correct place. I do the exact same motion. Up, down, up, down. All of a sudden, we're playing traditional grip, okay? That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, now, from this point, we're going to go into a little bit more advanced stuff, a little bit more of a technique thing. With traditional grip, when I rotate my wrist can only rotate so far. That's about as far as it goes. Okay, my wrist just simply cannot turn any farther than that. What if I want a bigger note? What if I want my stick to come higher? Well, obviously I can do that and get more volume, but there's an easier way to do it, much easier way to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my elbow, okay, which is already kind of close to my body. I got about 6 inches there, but I'm going to use that 6 inches to my advantage. I'm going to pull it into my body. As I do that, watch what happens to the beat of the stick. Pow! All of a sudden I got a few more inches, more height, more dynamic. That's the difference between this and this. Using that elbow generates a lot more dynamics, a lot more momentum. But for now, just beginning, just work on that for now. Okay? And as you're getting this down, go through all the basics. If you have a teacher, awesome. If you don't, get stick control. Everybody should have a copy of that book. And go through it, really focusing on the technique of the left hand. And what you want, it's going to be awkward, I promise. It's going to be very awkward. It's going to feel really weird. You're going to start to develop little calluses here and there that you never had before. You're going to wonder, what the heck is wrong with me? Nothing. Traditional grip takes a little bit of while to get comfortable with. It took me a good 2 years to get comfortable with it. And now I can't stop using it. So there we go. There's traditional grip, okay? I'm going to pull the camera in, and we're going to go through those motions one more time so you can see exactly my finger positions, okay? But before I do that, I get so many emails on this little twirl I do with my left traditional hand, and I do it subconsciously, and the trick is this. And that's all it is. And for some reason, I tend to do that a lot without thinking of it. I'll just be rambling like I am right now, and I twirl my stick that way just for whatever reasons. I get a lot of emails about that. And since we're on the subject of traditional grip, bonus section of the video, stick trick. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm holding the stick in normal traditional grip. I'm going to throw it outward as if the bead is going to you, away from myself. As such, it's going to spin around. I'm going to rotate my hand, let it come down underneath, boom, catch it again. So it's spinning around twice. 1, 2. You can see that the stick faces that direction twice. 1, 2. The first twirl is from the fingers, boom. The second twirl comes from a rotation of the hand. Fingers, hand. So it's kind of a double twirl. If I just did it once, well, no, that really wouldn't work because it would end up on top. Hey, there you go. Something I got to work on. But that's the trick. Over and under. Over and under. Very, very slowly. Over and under. Speed it up. Looks kind of cool. Just something you can toss in there while you're talking, rambling on to your friends like I am now. All right, enough of that. Work on that. I'm going to pull the camera in. Let's take a look at some of these finger motions, all right? All right, here we are again, up close and personal, traditional grip. Remember, we're going to start with an open hand, getting ready to shake somebody's hand. How you doing? We're going to take the stick, set it right in there in that little gap between the thumb and the other finger. That little pad creates our fulcrum. Put a little bit of pressure downward, little bit with the thumb. Remember, from here, I can do traditional grip. All I have to do is rotate my wrist up and down. There it goes. Okay, but if I want to keep going, what I'm going to do my little Vulcan grip, 2 underneath, 2 on top. Okay, let's make that a little easier. What we're going to do, pointer finger. Let's go finger at a time. Pointer finger is going to close in and connect with my thumb. That creates my fulcrum point. Okay, just like over here. So we got thumb and forefinger. My middle finger is going to be a lazy bum, kind of like me, and just kind of relax gently on the top of the stick. Every time you see somebody playing traditional grip, it looks like they're giving you a dirty gesture, but they're not, I promise. It's just their middle finger being lazy is what it is, and in many cases they're using it to control the stick. Okay, so 2 fingers on bottom now. We're going to use my ring finger, and I'm going to set it right on the cuticle. Okay, if you can't see that, right there on the cuticle of the ring finger. That creates a nice balance point where the stick can rest. Pinky finger sits right underneath it and supports it. Now I have all fingers in place. Thumb there, finger connected, middle finger lazy on top, ring finger cuticle, pinky support. Again, rotation of the wrist, just like we were doing back here. If I put all my fingers back on, same exact motion. So spend some time with this, then spend some time with the fingers on. Work through stick control, syncopation, accents and rebounds, etc., etc., etc. And up close, over and under. All right, I'm Derrick. Catch you later.